I get so excited about a new song that I was like, okay, let's make a record. And I'd make the record, and then the songs that were on there would, as we performed them and connected with more people, they would grow, and evolve. And I'm like, that's the song in the record. It's not the song anymore. It's evolved into so much more than that. So with this record, I took songs that had spent a good amount of time in front of audiences. And what happened with a lot of them is that people started singing along. People want to raise their voices together.
Welcome to the Better Each Day podcast radio show with Bruce Hilliard. Today and every day, reaching out for innovative ideas in every way. Today's show is brought to you by your future. It comes with a lifetime guarantee. Make a better each day now, baby. Better in every way. So I sang louder. I sang stronger.
Meghan Cary is a great storyteller. This interview really encompasses the creative spirit, the unstoppable, contagious enthusiasm that is Meghan Cary. Listen to her backstory and how she turns tragedy into not only personal happiness, but inspiration to everyone that feels that spirit. So sing along, and like Meghan Cary says, if you don't know the words, sing louder. Where are you located right now?
Right now, you mean in the world?
Yes, on planet Earth.
Yeah, I'm in the U.S. and I'm in Philadelphia in Pennsylvania.
Oh, is that
where are you?
I am in Seattle.
Oh, wow! So it's morning time there.
It's about a little after 10.
Oh, good morning.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm having some coffee. I just got back from the YMCA, and I'm feeling good. I'm happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. I'm really looking forward to chatting.
Good. I have a quote I want to read. Mm-hmm. Are you ready? Are you sitting down?
I'm not sitting down. Should I sit down? Because I can't.
No, it's good. Okay, here we go. Does the world need another storytelling troubadour? If the artist in question is Cary, the answer is a resounding yes. Seek this one out. Billboard magazine. That's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool and a total surprise to me. That was their response to my first record. They gave my debut the Critic's Choice for Best Newcomer.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute surprise to me. Someone, and I to this day do not know who, somebody got a copy of the CD and sent it to Billboard. And then I got a call from a friend saying, did you see, do you need more copies of Billboard magazine? I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, you're in Billboard magazine. I was like, what? And I went and I found it, and there it was. And they liked it. And it was just a huge surprise because I really had no intention of even making a CD, much less, putting it out there and being a musician. It just wasn't it just wasn't what I set out to be.
What led to it? That's the story that I think you've got an interesting story as well. How did you become a musician? What was the influence? What was the epiphany?
The epiphany was actually a huge life shift. I was first I went off to school as a high school junior high. I was always a math and science geek, so I went off to Duke University, to study to go to med school. I was pre-med. I was going to be a biomedical engineer. I mean, that's what I was always going to be. And when I was at Duke, I had the first epiphany. I had this crisis of my right brain, like I think it was just about to be completely squelched out by my analytical left brain, and it was like, wait, stop, listen, I'm here, and it had this, like, it was like this last gasp, and I heard it, and so I went right then and there. I was in a math class. I was in an advanced calculus class, and I just left the class. It's like, oh my God. Kind of had a panic attack about this, and I went to the registrar, and I changed a bunch of my courses for the next semester. And I thought I was going to study political science. I thought, well, that would be, that didn't work at all. And then I ended up leaving Duke University with a degree in drama and a second in chemistry.
Interesting change.
So it was a little bit of a 180, and I went off to grad school for acting because I really didn't know anything about theater. I mean, I just chose it because it was challenging, and I did love to connect with people, and I didn't even have the words for that. I just knew that I liked to reach people on an emotional level. And so I found myself in the theater. And then I went off to grad school and actually learned how to act. And I went off to New York and was an actor. And that's what I was doing when I met the man that would become my fiancé. And he was a musician. We were doing a musical called Pump Boys and Dinettes, and all the guys in the show play instruments. So he played the guitar and sang. And I started singing with him. And we fell in love, and we, started living our lives next to each other. And I sat beside him on a bar stool, singing the harmony to the chorus on all the songs that, he sang all those songs you love to raise your beer to and sway at the bar to, all the cover tunes. And I loved it. I was like, this might be what maybe music is something that I need in my life. And then he passed away.
Oh, no.
Very unexpectedly. And when he died, it was, that was the biggest turning point at that point in my life that I'd ever come to. Everything that I thought was supposed to be my life was just ripped out from under me. The rug gone.
Oh, so what do you do?
I had no idea.
Yeah. What's next?
Right. What's next? What, I had all these plans, and sometimes we live in our plans as if they are happening, and they weren't. These were all these dreams, and all of a sudden I was like, well, I don't know how to make any of these happen, and I don't know where I am, and I really lost, and I decided that what I wanted to keep was the one thing that I could keep, which was the music. So I picked up his guitar, and I figured out how to play a few chords. I mean, you don't need that many to play just about any song. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know, my problem was that I didn't know any of the songs. I knew the chorus, and then mostly the harmony to the chorus. So I didn't know the lyrics to any song all the way through, and I didn't even know the melody, So I was up in the mountains doing a play called Terra Nova, which I had auditioned for and was cast in before, any of this happened with Matthew, my fiancé. And so I, when you're in a show, you rehearse during the day and then have your evenings free until the show opens, and then you have all day free, and you do your shows at night. So I picked up this guitar and I started, putting words to music and figuring out sounds that sounded like they could be music. And I ended up writing these songs, and I had a lot to write about because there was a lot going on emotionally in my life. And I had no intention of ever playing them for anybody. I mean, they were just my songs, but they were my way of working through the grief. And I guess some of the guys in the show, the play was all men and me. And in fact, I played the role of the wife of Captain Scott, who, at the end of the play, I have to come on stage and I had a monologue to the audience saying, I got to the place where I was supposed to meet my husband, and I found out when I arrived there, after being on a ship for many weeks to get there, that he was dead. So that was my monologue, and it was, it's a very cosmically intense time. And so I guess the guys heard me playing these songs. They said, what are you playing in there? I said, oh, no, nothing. I don't really know how to play. And so, come share it with us. So I started playing these songs as I would write them. I'd play them for the cast. And it just became a thing. It felt right. It was a nice way of expressing myself with somebody. And then it was time to go back to New York, and there was a standing gig that Matthew used to play at a bar called Hilliard in Manhattan on Restaurant Row, and he obviously couldn't play his gig the next month. So I went in to talk to the bartender and tell him, this Irish bartender, tell him that Matthew couldn't play his gig, and Ronan was his name. Ronan said, well, why not? I said, because he died. And Ronan kind of looked at me for a moment. I didn't know what he was going to say. And what he said was, oh, well, then can you play it? And I said, yeah, I can. So I played a 3-hour gig at this bar in New York. And I had, at that point, I'd written, I think, 4, 5 songs, and I'd figured out how to play Bobby McGee and Angel from Montgomery and learned all the words. So I had 3 45-minute sets, and I filled them with these songs and a lot of stories. And I just did the songs over and over again. And people stayed. They stayed, and they're like, do that one again. And I do it again. and by the time they left, by the time we all left the bar, people were singing the words to some of these songs that I had written because they'd heard them, 3 times in a row. And that was the start of me making music for other people.
You already kind of knew how to connect with people, and that's what you did. You played the same music over and over, but it was cool, That's funny.
Yeah. And
you were like 3 chords away from figuring out that I can write songs, and you were 1 CD away from Billboard writing you up. Wow, you're just like an inch away all the time, huh?
Yeah, it was. And the thing was that I never. It was sort of like. Maybe this happens all the time and we just don't notice it, but sort of like life was living me. Life was doing what it was going to do.
Yeah.
And I just kept keeping up. I was like, okay, and that was, and once, and then of course there's the stumbles after when I went to record the songs for the CD, the first CD, the one that Billboard gave the mention to, I wasn't making a CD. I was just recording. I wanted to record these songs I'd written to give to Matthew's mom and to some friends of mine. But I didn't know the least thing. I mean, not the first thing about how to record music. I didn't own a microphone. I had a boombox, So somebody that I knew said, oh, I have this friend and he can help you. So I called this guy and he told me how much. He said, I can do this. I'm a producer. And he told me how much it was going to cost to record these 5 songs now that I had. And it was just too much for me as I was a new actor in New York City and I didn't have the money in. So I told him thank you and then just, kind of let it go. But I had just started making commercials, doing voiceovers, because that's what the universe kind of threw me when everything fell apart.
Yeah.
The universe kind of filled the vacuum of things, and one of the things was an incredible career in commercials, like doing on camera and a lot of voiceovers. So when you do voiceovers or commercials, you get mailbox money, for residuals.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to my mailbox after this conversation with Scott McClatchy, and there was my first checks from my agency.
Yeah.
And there were 3 checks in there, and they added up almost to the penny to what Scott said it was going to cost to make this record. So I guess I'm making a record. And that's the way. And I went in and we started recording, and about halfway through, you always get carried away in the studio, and it's always more than you think. And about halfway through, the guys are like, you're out of money. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, but listen, we want to finish it. Not that I don't have any more money. I can't. They said, no, we don't need any more money. We want to finish it, but you have to promise us that you'll press CDs and distribute them. And I was like, you mean like sell them? And they're like, yeah. I said,
Jeez.
Who's going to buy my music, And they're like, no, I think people will buy it. And I'm like, no way. But I did, because I wanted to record them. I wanted to finish it. So I made the promise, and I did. And then that's when someone got a hold of one and signed it off to Billboard. So I was kicking and screaming the whole way, being dragged into this music thing.
Oh, jeez. Just surrender. It sounds like it's destined to happen. Doesn't it seem sometimes... You look back at the things that were just tragic and horrible and the good things and stuff, but it always kind of looks like a finely honed novel somehow,
Yes, it does.
It's weird.
When you read back on it, well, hindsight,
Yeah, well...
It all makes sense.
You telling the story it comes off like, oh yeah, that's got to be a movie. I can see it, and you'll do the soundtrack for it. And
that's right. Well, I did write a play. I wrote a one-woman play.
All right.
That touches on some of this and on the journey it took me to get to the point where I could let go of Matthew, for one thing, and take up the music as my own, Because for so long it was, I was doing it, and it was for Matthew. It wasn't my music. It was, and when I finally took it up as my own, that's also when I was able to allow love back in my life too, which was really important, because I met my now husband and the father of my two children at sound check at CBGB's in New York.
Oh, really? Of all places?
Yeah, of all places.
Funny.
You know CBGB's?
Oh, well, yeah. I opened for the Ramones back in the 70s.
Wow.
They were kind of known for playing there, but they were known on the East Coast, and they really weren't known on the West Coast at all at that time. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now, but at the time, I didn't know who they were.
Wow.
It was a large tavern, basically, where they served alcohol and whatnot. And they showed up and looking like they would do on all the album covers and everything. Very shy, and they were going to use our equipment. And basically, their sound check was turn everything up to 11, count it off fast, and bang it out. And I was like, what the heck? Because I was in a band that was doing harmonies, and, we were probably, and the audience loved them. And I was like, well, what the heck? And so we get done.
Wow.
They wanted to go get something to eat, and there was a Denny's about a block away. Now, the town we were in was Aberdeen, Washington, and it's kind of a redneck town, kind of a timber town, and in the 70s, very much so. And so I said, well, we'll just go over to Denny's. And they were kind of, I don't know. Are we going to need a knife? No, I don't think. I don't really foresee a gang war happening between here and Denny's, so we went over and ate. Yeah, so.
That is funny. Are we going to need a knife? Oh, man.
I don't know. Not if you're going to get a burger and fries, you don't have to cut it.
Right, that's right.
I didn't think of that.
We just use our hands.
In Aberdeen, we just bend over and eat with our face, like a pie eating contest.
That's great. And so you opened for them at CBGB's?
No, it was in Aberdeen, Washington. Yeah.
Oh, in Aberdeen. Okay.
Yeah, as I found out more about them, that's kind of where they got their start, as did a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
I see. Yeah. And CBGB's it was a cool club. When we played, I was playing in the gallery, which is it developed two sides. There was a really rock club, and then the gallery was more of a listening room, more for the folkier singer-songwriter kind of, bands, and but the same sticky walls and dark, just like you really, like if you sat down on something, you kind of peeled yourself off.
Oh yeah, and your shoes fall off because they stick to the floor when you walk. Yeah, I played there.
Yeah, that sound.
It wasn't that exact place, but I know what you're talking about, and it has a smell all its own too. You know it when you walk in the door from the outside. It's like, oh, okay, haven't mopped the floor probably.
No.
The Eisenhower.
They'd never seen a mop, and it's closed now. CBGB.
Yeah, I do know that.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, a lot of the great clubs. When I was coming up in New York, my first the first real club I played was the Bitter End, and I've actually released this latest record. I went back to the Bitter End because it just has such great memories. I've released every record but the one that I when I met my husband, I was releasing the CBGB. So I guess that was karmic or whatever, or cosmic that I decided to do, right?
Yeah, it's part of the book they're going to write about you. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. You go ahead and write it. You go ahead and do it.
I could write actually by doing this podcast. I know a lot about a lot of different people, and it could come. One of you guys are going to be huge. It might as well be you.
Yeah, okay, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
I'm voting for you. You have my vote. Can we talk about a couple of your songs?
I have a protected page that I'll send you the page.
Okay.
And the password, so you'll have the magic password.
Ooh, man.
Get these.
Does it have a secret?
I like you, Bruce.
A secret handshake that goes with it?
It's just like that. It's just like that. When I see you have to, do the secret handshake and a little jump to the right and a step to the left and spin around.
I have tingles. Yes. Thank you so much. What's the song you'd like to talk about?
There's so many, but
I know.
I guess the first one I'd like to talk about is the title track of this new record, "Sing Louder," because it sort of speaks to the rest of the songs on there.
Sing Louder. How did that title come about?
The reason I decided to have it be the title track and to put out a record called "Sing Louder" is because I started to, as I was putting these songs together, it's like, the mistake I made in other records, I mean, it's not a mistake, but the thing that I did was I get so excited about a new song that I was like, okay, let's make a record. And I'd make the record, and then the songs that were on there would, as we performed them and connected with more people, they would grow, and evolve. And I'm like, that's the song in the record. It's not the song anymore. It's evolved into so much more than that. So with this record, I took songs that had spent a good amount of time in front of audiences. And what happened with a lot of them is that people started singing along. People want to raise their voices together.
Yeah.
It feels really good, right? Doesn't it feel really good to sing with other people? Harmony, resonates. It feels so great. So this song in particular, this was sort of the start of the song that people would just sing back at me, and the hook of the song is, if you don't know the words, sing louder. So I would encourage them to sing. I don't care if you don't really know what you're singing. Come on, how many times have you, when you were a kid, you'd be like, take it to
yeah. With reckless abandon. Yes, I've done it many times.
Right,
I still do it.
And it feels just as good. Wrapped up like a douche. I mean, right?
Okay, all you people out there in your cars that are listening to this, I know you're doing that.
Yes, you know, we all do it.
Yeah.
We all do it. So I figured, you guys, look, go ahead and sing along with me on this. And by the time we get to the third time the chorus comes around, you're going to know the general gist of it. And whatever you throw in there, it's going to be in the right spirit, as long as you get the spirit of it. So when I went to record the record, I really wanted to capture, especially on that song, the magic energy of a room full of people singing back at me. Because I'm going to play it at Philly Folk Fest, because people are kind of expecting to play this song now, because that whole field will be people singing back at me, saying, "Sing louder, sing stronger." So when I went to make the record, I decided I wanted to bring in people into the studio and have them sing it. People, not professional singers, not a choir. I just wanted the people that sing it back at me, gig after gig, to come in and have their voices heard on the record. So I had 48 people in the studio at Morningstar Studios, and a lot of them had they'd never stepped up to a mic. They'd never put on headphones. They all put on headphones and really stepped out of their comfort zone and sang on this song, and they were fabulous. They were, and the energy of the day was just it was profound. Everybody left there lifted, like just walking on air, because when we raised our voices together, something happened, and they just did it over and over, and with abandon and with passion, and they make that song, I think.
That's the best. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's one of those, man, you had to be there. You couldn't believe it, I bet,
Yeah, exactly. There's just, and if you go to a live show, you'll feel the same kind of energy, but there's nothing like, there were 48 people with headphones on, because Glenn at Morning Star, he's got 50 sets of cans, so they all had them on, and it's just, I actually have a video. If you go to my YouTube site,
yeah,
Meghan Cary, YouTube / Meghan Cary, you'll see the first video is, it has a bunch of footage from when this group of people came into the studio to record that song. And it's just amazing. They also brought signs because they knew they were going to be singing, and that I wanted to, capture a video. So they brought signs with words on them, things that were important to them.
Oh, wow.
Like, I remember one friend held up a sign that said civility. Another was pride, and there were just words and phrases and why they make music, what they're raising their voice for.
I feel feet tapping through the floor. I hear hammers on strings rising under the door. She is whiling the hours away. She plays her music most every day. She's seen life that I've never known. Over 100 years old, and she is still on the go. When I ask how she's lived all those years, will she last till she cries? Then she speaks through her tears. She says, live what you love and love what you do. Laugh with your friends and cry with them too. Oh, sing every day, sing out loud, sing out clear. If you don't know the words, sing louder, sing stronger, sing louder, sing stronger for all of the world to hear. She's walking out when I'm walking in. On her arm is a cane, and on her face is a grin. When I ask how she's feeling today, well, her smile tells it all, but here's what she says. She says, live what you love and love what you do. Laugh with your friends and cry with them too. Oh, sing every day, sing out loud, sing out clear. If you don't know the words, sing louder, sing stronger, sing louder, sing stronger for all of the world to hear. When she left us, the silence was deafening. So I climbed up the stairs to her room, and I sat at her keys with my hands on my knees till a song filled my heart. It was loud, it was clear. Now I wasn't quite sure of all of the words, so I sang louder, I sang stronger, I sang louder and stronger for all of the world to hear. I sang, live what you love and love what you do. Laugh with your friends and cry with them too. Oh, sing every day, sing out loud, sing out clear. If you don't know the words, sing loud.
You've been listening to the Better Each Day podcast radio show with Bruce Hilliard. We'll be back with a new horizon, but until then, honor the future. It comes with a lifetime guarantee.
And we're all just trying to make the next day a bit better.